Time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
Welcome into the Friday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. Philip Pilkington and Dom Kasulki here in for PJ. Full disclosure, PJ had a basketball game that he was calling that was supposed to be tonight at 7 o'clock. Due to the inclement weather, it was moved up to earlier this afternoon, so he's currently calling that high school basketball game. Therefore, myself, Philip Pilkington, and Dom Kasulki filling in for PJ today. And before we tell you about the show, I will introduce my partner in crime, Dom Kasulki. Dom, how you doing on this Friday?
I'm doing great. Wasn't expecting this, but it's always great to fill in. I love doing the show with you.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's always a joy to do it with you as well. As you were called from the bullpen, you got that call late yesterday afternoon. So we hope you had plenty of time to get stretched, to get loose, do all the funny arm things with your resistance bands, and you're ready to go?
Yeah, I stretch every day. I'm ready to go, and this is usually a bullpen visit for me. I'm not usually the starter just yet. At some point, maybe.
Hey, man, being the starter sometimes is fun, and sometimes it's a long season when you're a starter.
Yeah, I mean, you go every day, so it must be tough on your right arm.
Yeah,
your shoulder feels it.
Hey, that July off season, man, it's big. It's much needed when I get that July off season.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sure.
Only 1 month, but hey, we'll take it. All righty. Well, we are about to get into the Patrick Johnson Show here in full, but just a teaser for the rest of the show. Our second segment, we will be joined by Bob Pockrass from Fox Sports to talk about all the latest off-season news and notes from around the NASCAR realm. Talk a little bit about this weekend's clash. Full disclosure, we had to tape this one yesterday because Bob is extremely busy today. So when we taped it, actually, even the minor schedule changes that have been made had not been made yet. But he does say they are going to try and get it in. And then we'll wrap the show talking about not only why East Carolina has the best fan base in all of college baseball, but due to some of the odds and how they have changed for postseason odds, we will talk about why we might have the only fans in all of the American Conference as it results to college baseball. And that will be our whole final segment. So Wednesday, right after the show ended, all the odds were put out for Omaha, for winning it all, for winning the conference. So Dom and I are going to hit on that. Before we get into our 5 at 5, Dom, just a quick question for you. You are not a NASCAR fan,
correct,
but this weekend, Sunday night, they're supposed to run at Bowman Gray Stadium, which is an old high school football field that has been converted into a quarter-mile racetrack. If NASCAR were to run on a small quarter-mile in the snow,
oh my gosh,
would you be inclined to watch on a Sunday night if nothing else is on?
Honestly, yeah, if nothing else is on, that sounds interesting. I mean, I turn it on if there's nothing on in general. I'm just not the biggest NASCAR guy, but you put snow in any equation. I love that in football. I mean, you don't really get it in many sports, so you get it in NASCAR, then you're going to get some cars twirling around. You're going to get some crazy stuff going on, so yeah, I'd definitely tune in.
It sounds like they will not run in the snow, but we could only hope because that'd be amazing, and maybe Dom would get into NASCAR. The other funny thing, Dom, speaking of weather and snow, before we get into the 5 at 5, so the NHL plays 2 outdoor games a year. They play on New Year's Day, and they have one more, usually the beginning of February. This year, it was in Tampa, and I thought, what idiots putting it outside in Tampa. It's not going to be cold.
Worst place.
It's going to be cold.
Yep.
I mean, 44 degrees, overcast, perfect hockey weather. Good thing it wasn't last week. I don't know if you looked at the weather much last week outside of here. There was a heat wave in Florida. It was in the 80s.
Oh, gosh.
Despite being as cool as it was here. That was why Scooter sent that thing to us that said Mike Norvell's seat is so hot. It's keeping the whole peninsula of Florida warm. So, hey, man, outdoor hockey might not go so bad after all.
I guess they chose the right week, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we bag a lot on Mother Nature, but I guess we got to give her applause when she does pull through.
I mean, I guess ECU basketball is still planning on being played. We don't have a home game, but we're going to get some snow pretty bad here. At least it appears. We thought so last week, and nothing really happened.
Yeah, I think this week might be a little different. You still got to. I don't know if milk and bread have flown off the shelves as quickly this week. Everybody still got enough milk and bread from last week because, to your point, Dom, we didn't really get much. but I think most businesses around town stayed open as far as I know. I went out, I think both days last week and drove around town.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I woke up and looked outside, and it was just rain. I didn't even see any ice here. I know some places got hit hard, but we were not one of them.
No, I think what happened is the heat, because the storm itself came up from Mexico, and then there was the cold front coming down from Canada, and it was like if you got the cold front prior to the snow, you were good, and it was snow. If they got there at the same time, it was ice. And if you got the storm before the cold front, obviously you just got rain. I think here we kind of got it at the kind of the same time. I think was kind of how it worked out. But hey, we survived. Moved a lot of stuff for no reason.
Yeah, another week.
Yeah,
let's get it going.
Here we go. We'll see what happens again. All righty, enough about the weather. We sound like two old men talking about the weather.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, let's talk about some sports. Let's do our 5 at 5 here. Hit it.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
All righty, number one in our 5 at 5. Dom kind of teased it already, but ECU hoops. This is the first time the Patrick Johnson Show has been on the air since the loss on Wednesday night to the Rice Owls. The Pirates will travel down to Boca Raton on Sunday to take on another Owl in FAU. Before we talk about this, Dom, who is the only Division I Owl to not be in the American Conference? There are 4. We have Rice, FAU, Temple. Who's the other one?
Rice, FAU, Temple. Is another Owl. Gosh.
They are an FBS football program, group of 5.
Then I'm going to have no clue.
No, FBS, not FC. They play big boy football, but they're in the group of 5. They're not like in the Big 10, Big 12, ACC, SEC.
Gosh, you put me on the spot. He didn't tell me about this one beforehand.
Nope, put you on the spot.
Oh, Owl team, man. Get Igo on here. He'd probably have it in half a second. I don't think I have any idea.
Kennesaw State.
I mean, I've seen them play basketball because they made the tournament a few years back. I didn't know they were Owls. I don't know group of 5 mascots like that. Come on, I'm not as smart as you are in sports trivia. That's why you carry the team whenever we go.
I only carry it when it's NFL, and you know what? You do not know mascots as well as I do, but you know rando 6th man players.
Yeah, that's
better than I do. Yeah. I think you could assemble a roster better than I could. I can just tell you who won the Super Bowl, 50 years ago.
I don't know how you do it. You got some kind of like math brain that's specific for sports.
I don't know how you know all these players, especially now because every single guy in the NBA's last name is like Vich or Vic or anything because they're all Russian and all that.
A lot of
and
European players
Croatian,
now.
and they all sound the same to me. I can't even read them, much less keep up with them or pronounce them. So
yeah.
All righty, Pirates will be taking on the Owls of FAU. Dom, I think last week or the other night against Rice, that was an opportunity to win a game. That was an opportunity to get yourself back in the conference tournament picture. Right now, look, I think bottom line is they're on the outside looking in. The likelihood of making the conference tournament is getting slimmer and slimmer, which stinks, but also it makes you wonder, can the team just kind of go out there now and play with no pressure? You no longer have the pressure of going 0 and whatever. You've got that win. Now it's not like, oh my goodness, we're on the cusp. If we mess up and lose a game we're not supposed to, that's going to be the difference in making it and missing it. Like now it just is what it is, I guess, at this point. Is that a bad way to think about this thing? Because I just view it as like, you know what? Go out there and play with reckless abandon, and if you pull off the upset, all the pressure's on FAU. They're tied for first in the conference. Nobody's picking you. Just go out there and have fun and hoop.
I feel like that's really the only way to think about it right now. We don't have much to go on. 1-7 in conference, 1-6 in conference. It's not looking good. I feel like every single game has come to the same script where we can play decent in the first half, not that great. Second half, we start slow. Last 10 minutes, we're like, okay, we remember how to play basketball. They just can't put it together right now. So I wanted to ask Schwartz, and I never did during the last press conference after the loss versus the Owls. What can we do differently like we do at the end of the game? And it feels like we tick up that defensive pressure at the end of the game. I mean, I know it would tire the guys out, but we trap at the end of the game. The defensive pressure is just amazing. It gets the crowd back into it, and we always bring ourselves into that comeback range, and we never pull it through. It feels like we never pull it through. So if you play more free, like you said, towards it feels like you're playing free at the end of the game because it feels like the game is over. I know they're not thinking that in their heads. That's not how you play. But in the fan perspective, it feels like the game's over. So you're playing a lot more free. You're like, all right, let's go get a steal. Let's go get a bucket. If we miss a shot, it's okay. Like, just, crash the boards. You got to play like that, play more free. So I agree. That's the mindset you got to have.
I get what you're saying, that it felt that way amongst the fans and not the team.
Yeah.
But some of the substitutions that were made late in that game almost kind of felt like they felt that way.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting to see Patty in. Nothing against Patty Darcy, but he got a few minutes. He made a bucket. But, yeah, there was a couple of rotations where I was confused. But I like seeing Dimitri Gardner out there. I feel like he's really shown a lot of heart, joining the team in conference play. He's really been what I feel like is our most consistent shooter right now. And we don't really have that, so we need him on the court more often than not. I mean, him and Jordan Riley have really been our top two guards, which was not the expectation, of course, for a player to come in mid-season and play better than any of your other guards. So it's been a tough sledding right now.
Dom, early in the season, I said we need to get a guard at the trade deadline.
Yep.
We got our guard at the trade deadline.
I'm
just saying.
And he's looked good, and he's kept us in games, and he's been part of sparking those comebacks. I mean, he made that corner three. It was our first three of the game. I think we were 0 for 10 from three, and it kind of sparked the comeback coming from Jordan Riley as well. And really, it feels like Jordan Riley is the main contributor every single game during those comebacks. I mean, he broke his career high once again. He got 37. I mean, there's not much he can do. Schwartz said it after the game. We need to get him some help. He's doing all he can. Yeah,
he is. We'll see what happens Sunday right here, 94.3 The Game. Tune in. Darren Vaught also. It will not be on 107.9. So if you're out of our 94.3 The Game listening area, remember to download the IBX Media app or tune in on 94.3thegame.com.
Before we go on, I wanted to say FAU is coming off a couple of bad losses too. Memphis from a couple nights ago, and then another one. I believe it was South Florida. They had a bad loss 2 games ago as well. So they're going to be coming in looking for a win because they were towards the top of the conference before those 2 losses.
Glad you brought that up. 'Cause earlier I said tied for first place. When Igo quizzed me yesterday, they were tied for first. They're not because they lost to Memphis last night.
Yeah, they lost to Memphis.
So the pressure's on them to get back in that tie for first place. They're now a game back.
Yeah, they're 6-3 in conference play, 14-8 overall. So
and you got Tulsa, Charlotte, and
South Florida, all above them. Yep.
Okay.
In the game, yeah, it was South Florida. They lost 89-75, and now 92-65 on Thursday versus Memphis. So they're going to be coming in hot, looking for a win. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, they're going to be coming in, like you said, looking for a win, but also now the pressure. Like I said, pressure's on them. No pressure on ECU. Sometimes that can play to your advantage, but you've got to find a way to make it play to your advantage.
Yeah, you do.
So, all right. We'll see what happens on Sunday. All righty, let's move on to number 2. Dom, we are going to switch up number 2 and number 3, and the reason we're doing it is because I want to stay with basketball. And you mentioned a career high for Jordan Riley. I joked about the trade deadline, and those are the 2 things that will be brought up in our next topic. Number 2, we will be short on this. We know we don't have a huge NBA listening audience, but last night, the first ever meeting between Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg, Hornets won at 123-121, and now have a season-high 5-game win streak as they are trying to sneak their way into the play-in tournament. They sit at 21-28 overall on the season that is just past half over. Both of the former Duke players, because you can't call them grads or alumni. They're only there for 1 year.
But not really.
They went for career highs. Con Knipple, 34 after going 8 of 12 from downtown, and Cooper Flagg a career-high 49, making him only the 7th player in NBA history to have multiple 40-point games in his rookie season, and also the first teenager in NBA history, as he is still just 18 years of age, going on 19, first teenager to score 49 points in an NBA game. Is this a sign of the future, Mr. Kasulki? Can we have a great rivalry maybe between Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg? Because they both looked like they put on their best performance last night. No questions.
It looks like they put on a show. I mean, they're trying every single game, of course. It's the NBA, but you're playing against your former team. Well, yeah, I guess one can say you're going to try every game. Anyways, you're playing your former teammate. You guys are neck and neck in the Rookie of the Year race. If any of the listeners have been keeping up with the Rookie of the Year race, they're going back and forth between first and second in odds, because Con has honestly played really consistent all season long, and Cooper Flagg started slower. Obviously, he was the favorite coming into the season, but he has grown up already this early in his career, and he's not having to play the point guard as much, and now he's out there dropping another record, youngest player to ever score 45 points in an NBA game. That's another one, so that's 3 different, random records. But they really did put on a show. Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, I think, are going to be some of the top American players. With Jason, well, it is the way it is now.
It's the way
European
it is. It goes
players
off my point from earlier. Yeah.
They're taking over, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just is what it is. The European players are playing better than American players, and really a little homer of me, but I think Jason Tatum is the best American player right now in the league. First team All-NBA 5 seasons in a row. Before now, this season he's injured. So it's good to get that kind of rivalry back, and that's 3 Duke players, so that's not a good look for my agenda, but Duke loves to produce great players, and I'm hoping it's a rivalry for the future. And the Charlotte Hornets with a new look lineup with Diabate at the 5. Got Brandon Miller, LaMelo, Con Knipple, and I believe it's Miles Bridges. There's a 4th player. They're 11-1 playing together, so they are on a lot better of a win streak right now than they were looking earlier in the season when they put that lineup out. They're a really good team, which is what people were kind of expecting, because the lineup looks good. It really does look a lot better in recent years, and they weren't performing, but they're starting to put it together. Maybe a play-in, maybe a 6th spot. You never know. The East is weak.
The East is. And I was joking with a friend of mine in the stands the other day, who's a big Hornets fan, during the Stands ECU game. Was like, man, they keep rolling. They host a play-in game. We're going.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm not a Hornets fan, but I'd still go. That's fun stuff.
Yeah. All right, me, you, my friend Connor can go, and William will be producing the Patrick Johnson Show that day. Tag you it, William.
William will probably want to go over me. He actually likes the Hornets, so I'd probably end up having to produce. But
DeMarco!
Yeah, let's go. We can all go.
That'd be fun. DeMarco and Patrick. They get along great, but if DeMarco had to do a full sports show, that'd be fun, though.
It would be. I'd be interested to. I'd have to watch the rerun on YouTube.
We could stream it on the IBX Me app while we're driving to the arena.
That's true.
The game would tip at probably 7. We could get to the arena around 6.
Sounds like a good time. I honestly think LaMelo Ball, I know we don't want to talk too much more NBA, but LaMelo Ball might not even be a top 2 starter in that lineup. I think Brandon Miller and Con Knipple are both going to be better players, and they're more consistent. LaMelo's kind of a microwave player.
Do they move LaMelo?
There was talks. I feel like they could, but now the team chemistry is looking better, and they're starting to play better. I don't know if they take that into account, or they're like, hey, we can get some good pieces for LaMelo, and we kind of have our cornerstone guys right here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Speaking of trades, the last NBA thing we're going to hit on real quick. Where do you see Giannis going in this whole thing? I know there's been some trade talks. I don't think there's been an official proposal, but there's been some teams at least kind of come out and publicly say what they'd be willing to give up. I mean, the Bucks are not what the Bucks used to be.
No, the Bucks have not been playing well, especially with Giannis being in and out of injuries. The Warriors were trying to offer Jonathan Kuminga as well as Jimmy Butler, who just tore his ACL with some picks. That's not going to do it. The Heat have a chance. The Knicks have a chance. The Spurs. have pieces, and then the Thunder, of course, have a lot of picks, which would be not fun for the NBA. I don't think the NBA would like that because it'd be tough to beat with Giannis going to that Thunder team if they just give him a bunch of picks and try to rebuild the Bucks for the future. But Thunder would be a little too good at that point, so I don't know where he goes. I'm going to just make a prediction and say he goes to the Miami Heat. They somehow get it done. He wants to go live in Florida, have a nice life, play some basketball, and just be on the beach.
Nothing wrong being in South Beach. I think the other thing, too, that worries me or kind of turns you away from the Thunder idea is, like you said, they'd be so good. It's like, oh, you're trading all these picks. Okay, you're getting the 30th pick in the NBA draft.
Yes.
Like, that's not...
It's not that special.
Yeah, it ain't like dealing mid-first rounders in the NFL. So, all righty, we will see. All right, so our big one that we were going to go into, Dom, actually, we're going to bump that down to number 5. I just want to breeze through 3 and 4 so we have time to talk about number 5 in full because it's NFL related, and also I think it's the biggest... the thing our audience is going to care the most about. So we're going to go ahead and go to number 3. Number 3, earlier today, actually I think it was last night, Lindsey Vonn was taken to the hospital with what is apparently a left knee injury. Obviously, the Olympics begin next weekend. Vonn, at 41 years of age, was retired for close to half a decade, came out of retirement, qualified for the 2026 Olympics, and was supposed to kind of be the big-name athlete going in, obviously between her, Chloe Kim, and really all of the NHL players, as Shaun White, Apollo Ono, all those guys from the past have retired. So Lindsey Vonn, 41 years of age, a left knee injury, unsure whether she will be able to compete or not in the Olympic Games. Dom, we'll go quick here. Could you imagine coming back, putting 2 or 3 years in after a long retirement for one thing? That's what I've always respected about Olympic athletes, but also felt bad for them. You get to compete. I know they have other championships, but really your whole life is based around the Olympics, whereas most sports you get once a year to go for a championship. They only get the Olympics every 4 years, and here it is, and now she might not be able to compete.
Yeah, that's brutal. There's not much to say about it other than that's got to hurt the mental. You put in all that work, hurt your knee, you don't know if you're going to be able to go, and it doesn't seem like she's going to be able to go. I think I was reading up on it earlier. She got helicoptered or taken by a helicopter, and I also read that the conditions were not great. It was hard to see with their conditions, and it's got caught up.
Canceled the rest of the event.
Yeah.
So her crash was the final one.
Canceled the event, and she got caught up in the netting. So it's just. That really sucks. I don't know too much about it, or I need to keep up more with the Olympics coming up. But the pre-Olympic runs, I didn't know too much about it. But I hate that for anyone competing, especially someone for us.
Yeah. So prayers out to Lindsey Vonn. All right, let's move to number 4. This is kind of a fun one. Fanatics Sportsbook is trying to get you to use their product for betting on the Super Bowl. So they have went out and got themselves a new spokeswoman, Kendall Jenner, obviously the oldest daughter of Olympic gold medalist Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner. And so real quick, we're going to play, they did about a minute and a half ad for this. We are going to play a brief part of it, and I just think this is hilarious. And, when you're a celebrity and bad stuff gets put out about you, you can do one of two things. You can sit in the corner and cry about it, or you can embrace it, and I will applaud Kendall Jenner for this. So hit it, Dom. Here is the ad that Kendall did for Fanatics.
Haven't you heard? The internet says I'm cursed. Any basketball player who dates me kind of hits a rough patch. While the world's been talking about it, I've been betting on it. How else do you think I can afford all this? Modeling? But today, it's time to bet on something new. Football players. I'm making my bet on who's going to win. And you can bet with me or against me on Fanatics Sportsbook.
Next stop, San Francisco.
So, the whole thing is they are telling you to bet against whoever Kendall picks is kind of the The just I'm getting from this. The whole ad goes into her. I afforded this pool because boyfriend number 1 missed the playoffs. I afforded this car because boyfriend number 2 flopped out of the league and was a bust. I mean, there's always been the joke that anybody that dates any of the Kardashian Jenner women is cursed. Like a Miles Austin, Reggie Bush, Matt Kemp. I thought this was hilarious, Dom. Why not play into this? I mean, if you're any of the other sports books right now, I'd be going, they beat us to the punch.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm too happy if I'm some of the ex-boyfriends being talked about, but outside of that, I think it's hilarious. I think it is good on her to play into it because it's been a thing for a long time now. I mean, you name some players that it's happened to. I'll name some players as well. I mean, it happened to Devin Booker. He lost in the finals. Blake Griffin kind of fell off after he started dating her. The biggest one that I think they were talking about, and that was Ben Simmons, flopping out of the league. He was he was supposed to be the face of the league. He was supposed to be the next big thing. He dated Kendall Jenner. Bam, he's gone. He lost it.
And then Lamar Odom with Chloe. Most of the ones I named, I think, were the older girls, Kim and maybe Courtney. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the Lamar Odom. And then there was the whole thing. Chloe dated, was it Tristan Thompson? And like every time she went to a game, he lost.
Yep.
I think it's great. Like, why not embrace it? And again, I think they're doing like a whole reveal on who she's picking. It's not like they're just going to be like, oh, by the way, here's a notification. This is who Kendall picked. I think they're doing like a whole deal with it. And, she's going to pick whoever. And then all the money's going to go on the other team, which is going to mean that the team she picks will probably actually win the Super Bowl because, Vegas didn't build all those hotels from losing. Just saying.
Well, I feel like a lot of the money's on the Seahawks right now. So. Yeah. Hopefully the Patriots win. I don't know how happy people are going to be hearing that, but go Patriots.
Why are you pointing for the Patriots? Oh, it's because of the Sam Darnold thing. Yeah,
I'm happy for Sam Darnold, but he doesn't need to win the Super Bowl. I'm happy for his success and his money, but no Super Bowl. I can't have that.
Well, speaking of former Vikings quarterbacks, we are about to get Bob Pockrass on the phone. So let's go to number 5, the NFL one, probably the most relevant one out of all these outside of ECU hoops. The Falcons are rumored to be releasing Kirk Cousins, the guy who actually was worth the crap in their quarterback room this year, the guy who single-handedly won all those games that got the Carolina Panthers into the playoffs thanks to the 3-way tie on top of the division. So here's the deal. If they cut him, they will pay $35 million in dead cap this year and $12.5 million in cap next year. They have Michael Penix Jr. obviously on the roster. He has been terrible, so they will be stuck with him and one of the following quarterbacks. These are your free agents going into next season. Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Zach Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mitch Trubisky, Case Keenum, Trey Lance, Brandon Allen, Josh Johnson, Carson Wentz, Malik Willis, Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, John Wolford, Tyler Huntley, Easton Stick, Brett Rippon, Gardner Minshew, Skylar Thompson. I do not see anybody on that list that I would take over Kirk Cousins. I mean, there's maybe some guys like Garoppolo I would take equal to Kirk Cousins, but like, why not just keep Kurt and save the dead cap? I might even take Garoppolo a little over him, but
I don't know about that. But
yeah, I know. I guess Garoppolo doesn't play well.
I don't think I'd take Garoppolo over Kirk Cousins right now.
When he's not with the Raiders, he's good. No quarterback's good with the Raiders.
That's true, but how many years is it? What is that? 2 years now since we've seen him play good.
Yeah,
3 years. I mean, we saw Kirk Cousins last year winning some ball games with a defense that was hit or miss. They either come out to play really well or they didn't know how to stop a moving grandma. I don't.
I was going to say a nosebleed, but
yeah,
that moving granny.
So I don't know what Stefanski's the hire, so obviously he has some say in this, a lot of say in this, who he wants to be at his quarterback position. He's coming in to hopefully make an impact and be better than what the Raheem Morris regime was. I don't know if he just wants to kind of flip everything around and try to just clean slate with that. But, I mean, you're not really clean slate if you have Penix on the team. So,
and you won 8 games. It's not like you got a great draft pick.
Yeah, no. Well, they don't have a draft pick at all.
Oh, that's right.
They don't have a first-round draft pick.
Rams have their draft pick.
The Rams
I forgot about that.
So they traded their first-round pick to the Rams, and they got those 2, James Pierce and then another defensive, I think it was 2 defensive ends, honestly.
Okay.
So, they weren't bad draft picks, but, you only won 8 games. You didn't make the playoffs with it, so you don't have a first-round draft pick now. So Stefanski, I think he's working with 4 draft picks the entire draft, which is not great. I don't know why you're going to get rid of the guy that's shown you that he was better than Penix. I know you're gonna want to improve Penix, but he's still a younger quarterback. I mean, he came in older and injury prone, so I don't think you can cut Kirk Cousins and let him be the guy unless you're going to go get one of those guys that you just mentioned to be the backup, which are still going to cost money.
Yeah.
So I don't see a reason to cut him if he was playing at least well. I mean, you're going to be paying him either way. So just let him play on your team. Let him have that insurance if Penix gets hurt again, or start him and have that insurance if old Kirk Cousins gets hurt and Penix needs to go in.
I agree. That's the thing. You're taking, what is the point in the dead cap? I mean, I guess you could argue the highest paid player on the Broncos roster this year was Russell Wilson. Worked out pretty good for them.
Yeah, but the Falcons don't have that Broncos defense. It's not the same. It's not the same for them.
I wonder, here by looking at this list, because they're not drafting anybody, they're going to start now. Penix probably on the roster. Do you think there's some backdoor conversations going on with Daniel Jones? Because that's the only guy on this list. Because Rodgers, you wouldn't cut Cousins to bring in Rodgers. Then you got Wilson, then Mariota, and then after that, I mean, it's Flacco, Tyrod, and there's a bunch of young guys who are kind of never was guys, not really has-beens. I mean, the best are Garoppolo and Trubisky, I guess Case Keenum, but he's 38 as well.
Yeah, I don't think you go for Case Keenum or Trubisky. I don't think they're specifically going to do this, but I don't think Malik Willis is a bad idea for a team to maybe pay for a backup. The Packers might want to pay him for how he's played when Jordan Love's out, because Jordan Love always misses a few games during the season. So I don't really know what else you do here. It's not like a great class to just have some free agent come in and play better than what Kirk Cousins did. I've watched Kirk Cousins for years. I don't think he's really the guy that's going to go win you a Super Bowl, but he's a dang good quarterback. I mean, he can make hard throws. He's going to be a good leader in the locker room. I don't know why you'd go elsewhere, at least for the first year as your head coaching position, and see where it gets you. I mean, you don't have many draft picks there. There's not much to do.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, you bring up the Malik Willis thing, and I think it's a great point as it relates to Green Bay and maybe some other teams. But Malik Willis and Michael Penix, it's two shot-in-the-dark guys. And I think that was your point. But it's it's two shot-in-the-dark guys with the guys who don't have a lot of starting experience. Just keep Cousins.
Yeah. There's no it feels like their play style is somewhat similar to. I mean, Malik Willis runs more than Penix does, and especially now after both of Penix's ACLs have been torn twice. Yeah. So I don't know what you do here if you're the Falcons. Other than keep Kirk Cousins, I don't think that's smart.
I'm with you. All right, we got to get a break in here, so we got to get to Bob Pockrass. So we are going to take a time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show. On the other side, talking about the charter agreement and all the offseason drama with Bob Pockrass from Fox Sports. On the other side, this is the Friday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show.
Back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back. We got a jam-packed show, so let's get started.
Deep breath. Here we go.
Welcome back into the Friday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. PJ is out. Philip Pilkington filling in for him here today, and we are glad to welcome our next guest. That is Bob Pockrass from Fox Sports. Bob, you had a very busy season last year covering IndyCar full-time, covering NASCAR full-time. Have you gotten some rest this offseason, and how are you doing?
Well, tried to get some rest, but hey, got a lot of racing coming up in the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then all the way through until early November.
Yeah, you are the busiest man in all of motorsports, maybe all of sports media, so we really appreciate you giving us some time here with your busy schedule. We'll get right into the news of the offseason. The big news this offseason, for those who don't know, there's something in NASCAR called a charter agreement. 36 of those are owned by the teams. In layman's terms, it guarantees you a spot into the 40-car field. There are also some financial reasons to have charters. We will not bore you with that. But, Bob, this past year, Front Row Motorsports 2311, which is owned by three-time Daytona 500 champion Denny Hamlin, as well as Michael Jordan, of course, six-time NBA champion, sued NASCAR. They settled outside of court, but a new charter agreement was sent out to the teams last week. Teams can, other than those two, can run with the ones that they signed last year or sign the new one. Can you tell us what the major difference is in the 2025 charter agreement and the 2026 charter agreement?
Yes. So the new charter agreement makes what they call evergreen charters, in the sense that when they come up for renegotiation for after the 2031 season, 2/3 of the teams have to approve the deal. So it's almost like collective bargaining. And if you don't approve the deal and don't sign, you don't lose your charter. You get a year to sell it. So, remember this year, 2311, front row, they spent part of the season. They were not chartered. NASCAR kind of tweaked the rules to make sure they got in the races, but they weren't getting the money that would go to the charter teams. So now there's a provision there so that teams have more bargaining power when the next deal comes up. And then also they get some of the international media rights, which they didn't get before. They get a percentage of rights that go along with their intellectual property. And they also get a little bit more say in rule changes going forward.
Perfect. I appreciate you laying that out, because there has been a lot of legal terms been used really since December when all this kind of went down. So we do appreciate that. The next big thing that came out, Bob, this offseason was the new points format. It's not the old school traditional chase. It is a combination of that old school traditional chase where you got 10 races for the playoffs, but it does have a lot of emphasis on winning. There is a 20-point difference between first and second place. That is the most ever in NASCAR history from first to second, unless you go back pre-modern era where there were some weird things with it was based on how much money you won, and pretty much one year Petty won the championship by winning the Daytona 500. But in the modern era, this is what I think, Bob, is the most balanced format of you've got to be good for 36 weeks, but we're going to emphasize winning. I think the Winston Cup was all about being good for 36 weeks. The playoff format was all about being winning races. It didn't matter how consistent you were. I think this is a good balance. What are your thoughts on it, and do you think there is a driver, a group of drivers that will really benefit from this?
I think it's a good balance. I could go on with some eliminations. I kind of like the drama of an elimination race. I think the Bristol elimination race, the Roval elimination race, even the regular season finale at Daytona might not have the drama under this system that they had under the old system. But I think you give up maybe those 3 races and you get way more races where you feel like things matter. You feel like drivers can't take a weekend off, right? Because it could impact them down the line. You can't win early and say, okay, I'm in the playoffs, let me try this and let me try that. And if this piece breaks and I don't finish, it's not going to hurt me, because now you get extra points when you start the chase, depending on how you finish in the regular season standings. And those points certainly will be important when it comes down to determining who wins the championship.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I will kind of miss that Game 7 feel, maybe for lack of a better term, that we had with those elimination races, but I do think overall it does give you a better true champion. One of the other things that was brought up, I guess it was been in the last week or so, Bob, the schedule did have a slight change to it, not the venue or the time or the date or anything like that, but you mentioned the Roval elimination race there. The Roval is gone. NASCAR has decided to run both the Coke 600 as well as the fall October race on the traditional mile-and-a-half oval. It seems kind of like NASCAR, with that huge push for road courses, and now that the Gen 7 cars came, which is really probably the best mile-and-a-half car we've had since the Gen 4 car back in the 90s and early 2000s. It seems like, I hate to use the term cookie cutter because that was used such derogatory ways there in the COT era and in the Gen 6 era, but it seems like there's a push to go back to that as well. Chicagoland Speedway coming back here in 2026.
Yeah, well, look, I think when you took away an elimination race, that really kind of that helped the Roval, right? That helped kind of create the drama of a road course and what somebody might be able or need to do in order to advance, right? If you gave somebody a tap and shoved them in a corner in a row at the Roval, that's probably more likely than what you would see on the mile-and-a-half track, right? So I think, in NASCAR, considering whether to have this race on the Roval or on the oval, I think that is certainly a factor, as they look to determine what they're going to do with that race.
And speaking of races, we do have one coming up this weekend, or as far as we know right now as of doing this interview, we think we got a race this weekend. Bob, we go back to, don't quote me on the year, 93, 94, something like that, the Atlanta race that got snowed out. It was ran 6 days later as NASCAR came out and said, obviously, this is an exhibition race. They want to get all their races in for the sake of media rights, for the sake of the fans who have, spent money to travel to Bowman Gray Stadium this weekend. Is there a cutoff date? I mean, obviously, we don't have cars on track again till middle of the following week, but you got the Super Bowl and a lot of other things going on around the world, and there's a lot of logistical things. People have to get down to Daytona days in advance, NASCAR officials and track officials and things like that. Is there a specific cutoff for this weekend, and what should we expect?
Well, as we speak, NASCAR is treating it as just a regular weekend where even if there's a bad forecast, they're going to look to race on the first day that they can safely hold the event. And but this isn't just rain and snow; it's potential ice. And so when you talk about safely being able to hold an event, that takes a lot more. When you talk about trying to get spectators to the track, you're trying to get workers to the track, you're trying to get teams to the track, and then you need to be able to have a race, which means if a little snow melts and then freezes back up, that could be an issue too. So NASCAR has not given a day where they would say, hey, if we can't get in by this day, we'll have to move it to another part of the schedule. So we're just kind of in a wait and see mode.
Well, speaking of the schedule, we are with Bob Pockrass here from Fox Sports. One last thing for you, Bob, and then we'll get you out of here. Do you like this 2 weeks in advance? I know some of the drivers have said, specifically Kyle Larson has said he likes the 36 race format, but wish it was more condensed, more midweeks. Do you like this 2 weeks out from the Daytona 500 already being at the track? Do you think the drivers like it? Do you think they would potentially move the Clash to maybe Saturday night Super Bowl weekend? What do you think is for this event moving forward?
I think the whole point of the Clash is to get people excited about NASCAR, to get people excited about the Daytona 500. And when you do it at a historic venue like Bowman Gray Stadium, it does kind of get people excited. It does potentially provide a little bit of a spark. Unfortunately, it also can provide a little bit of snow when you're doing it up here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So, but yeah, when you talk about like the full schedule, could you go to some midweek races? Yes. I think that certainly should be something that always should be looked at, especially when you talk about all the different media partners that NASCAR has. And the question is, could you do something where you raced at Rockingham on a Friday and Darlington on a Sunday, or Martinsville and another track, that's close by, Martinsville and Richmond in the same kind of weekend and sell one ticket, right? Or could you do North Wilkesboro and Charlotte? All these different things that when you talk about who owns what tracks and could they sell one ticket and something could you create some kind of, weekend where you run kind of two races at two tracks over 3 or 4 days? I think something certainly could be looked at, but, also, it's, teams do need time to make sure that they have vehicles prepared to race, and so you need to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, obviously a lot different here in the Gen 7 era than the Gen 6 as it relates to backups and things like that. Last thing, Bob, right before we let you go, if I had to put you on the spot right now, championship prediction for this year, we'll just go Cup for the sake of time. Who you got winning the championship this year?
I'm gonna go with Ryan Blaney. I think he thrives in a format like this with consistency. He doesn't get. You hear him get a little rattled during a race, get a little bit excited, but normally he is able to rattle off top 5, top 10 finishes, and I think this format will treat him very well.
And the year ends in an even number, so Penske will probably win anyways because it ends in a 6. Alrighty, Bob, we thank you for your time. Have a good season, man, and we appreciate your time.
All right, thank you so much.
That was Bob Pockrass. We're going to take a time out and be back with more of the Patrick Johnson Show right after this.
And now, the stunning conclusion.
is everyone screaming?
On 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into the Patrick Johnson Show here. Just a few minutes left. We're going to talk Pirate baseball odds. These were released Wednesday night by DraftKings, I think was the one who put it out. To win the World Series, plus 10,000. To make it to Omaha, plus 1,200. To win the conference, when I first saw it, it was plus 190. Clearly, no one is betting on anyone else in our conference because when I checked right before the show, it was down to plus 150. Dom, does this prove we have the only fans in the American Conference? Also, what are your thoughts on these odds of plus 150, plus 1,200, and plus 10,000 to win it all?
Yeah, I think our fans are degenerates. I mean, I can't say I'm not included. It definitely does include myself. I haven't touched that we're going. Well, I've actually touched that we're going to make the College World Series because I feel like this is the year, man. Maybe I say that every year. We say that every year, but it feels like it is. But winning the conference, it feels like even in a down year last year, it's. I feel like now this year we're bound for a better year. I feel like it's we're due. We're due for a College World Series. We're going to win the conference, and a lot of our fans obviously are liking it because you said what, plus 190 to plus 145, plus 150 now. I mean, that's crazy in a day when it just gets released. I mean, I wish I got the conference odds because I didn't touch any of that.
Yeah, other teams in the conference, UTSA plus 240, huge fall off to FAU at plus 650, and then it's pretty standard fall off from there. Charlotte at 750, Tulane at 800, and I won't bore you with the rest. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. I don't think any of these odds are bad. $1 to win 12 to make Omaha, that proves what the odds makers think of East Carolina baseball. Because the team who had to get in last year from winning their conference tournament proves they have faith in Cliff Godwin to turn this thing around. And not only does Greenville have faith in Cliff Godwin, but it's becoming a national thing that they say, hey, this team really is not a long shot to make Omaha. I mean, everybody's plus money. No one's minus money to go to Omaha.
I mean, how many teams are above us? There's really not that many teams.
I think there's 16, maybe 18.
That's not that bad. I mean, being a mid-major school, I mean, being top 20, that's great. And not that we need to, be super excited about odds, like, oh my gosh, the odds books like us, but it shows something. It shows that we're building something here, and we have been for a long time. Yeah, and then plus 10,000 to win it all. It's about in the same spot. I wouldn't hate even taking that little plus 10,000 on the Pirates to win the College World Series. Big Hen showing up with 45 seconds left in the show. You want to be on the last 45 seconds of the show? Say Big hello. Hen? Negative, says Big Hen. Oh, we're going to talk to his agent. That's why we got to schedule Henry through his agent. All righty. Well, thanks to Big Hen for chiming into our show. Oh, yeah. Thanks to you, Dom. It was fun. That was fun. Yeah, it went by quick. It did. It was a good first segment. It was. That was a great time. I'm ready whenever. Give me the word. The bullpen guy is ready. Will do. We appreciate you always willing to come in. Thanks to Bob Pockrass. Thanks to all of you for tuning in, Pirate Nation. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you on Monday.